Hi, I'm Sim, a Kiwi, and this is Kiwi, a dog, and we're going on a little bike trip to a dog-friendly board game cafe. Come along with us. So today we're going to be riding along a cycle path that is in the south of London. It's going to take us from an area called Forest Hill all the way to Old Kent Road, which is where we're going to a cafe called Bad Moon. And Bad Moon's pretty cool. It's a board game cafe slash wargaming place. So you'll see a mix of quite like casual and family gamers alongside more stereotypical nerd types like myself playing war games like Warhammer. It's usually packed out. You have to buy a time slot at one of the tables. And but it's a very reasonably and affordable kind of a table price. Nice man letting us run past. I'll be riding there on my e-bike. I got this at the start of the pandemic because I don't know, I figured I'd ride it around a bit more. And I found that at the very beginning when I first bought it, I was riding it all the time. And then I have this habit of hyper obsessing. And so I was really into the e-bike for months, and then just didn't touch it. I think, hey look, another e-bike. Oh, that's cool. It's like one of those cargo bikes that they have in Netherlands. Yeah, so I didn't touch it for about 2 years, and eventually, I'm gonna take a risk here. Cool. Eventually, I got back onto it once I found this, which is a buddy rider, which helps me and bring Kiwi along for my bike rides. So a buddy rider is kind of like a child seat that goes in the front of your bike, except it's made for dogs. Obviously, as you can see, Kiwi really seems to enjoy it. It's about 150 pounds, maybe 170 euros. Not sure in dollars, but I do think they sell it in the US. I think it's a Canadian company that makes it. And it's really changed the way I ride. So I've been using the buddy rider and my e-bike to go everywhere with Kiwi. We used to mostly hang out at parks in our own house, but now I can go to parks maybe even like 30 minutes to an hour away from us. So Kiwi gets to explore a lot of new places, meet a lot of new dogs, run away from them because she's quite shy and nervous around some dogs. Aren't you, little girl? Aren't you? But overall, it's been a really good experience. If you want to know what Kiwi thinks, just watch her face. A lot of the time when we're on the bike, she will just look around and sniff at the air. And I think she's trying to figure out like what these things are. She can tell if there's a person, she can tell if there's a cat going by, she can tell if there are dogs especially, and she'll like look at them and watch them. If we're ever stuck in traffic and there's another bike next to us, she'll want to get pets. But other than that, she's like very chill on this and doesn't really want to do much else apart from look around. At least that's what I like to tell myself. It was a bit difficult to get her into this first couple of times we tried. I had to teach her with a lot of good treats. But then eventually found that she likes the rides so much that if I get her off of the buddy rider, she'll immediately want to start climbing back in, which is a good sign. That makes me feel really good. Makes me feel like it's not just a treat for me to ride around with her, but it's a treat for her as well. So we're going past a bunch of like quieter residential bits in southeast London. I won't turn on the navigation until I get a bit closer to Peckham, which is where I usually have issues figuring out where to go. The bike paths around here are quiet, which is good for them, but they're not really separated. So you'll have to like kind of run into oncoming and side traffic quite a bit on these rides, which is unfortunate. London, for all its great advancements, and especially in public transport, is still quite a way behind a lot of European cities when it comes to public bike infrastructure. Up here actually is one of the bits of this bike ride that I do that I hate. There's a double crossing with a little median, which is good for sometimes if people let you across. You are beholden to their generosity. So I'm going to take the risk here and go to the median. Cool, and they saw me. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, I was blagging on about how I didn't expect people to be kind there, and then they instantly came and proved being wrong. So score 1 for society, 0 to sim. I'm wearing a Labo Mono weatherproof jacket today. This is probably my favorite outer layer. It's waterproof, made of a bunch of plastic that's been recycled from PET bottles, made by a company here in the UK. I believe it's like a young team, a bunch of entrepreneurs just got together, tried to solve a problem in a fun, fashionable way. Really dig that. Kiwi has a waterproof jacket as well. So this is a Kong waterproof jacket in vibrant fuchsia. Kiwi is more of a green colored lady herself. That's her favorite color. I know dogs can't see color, but I like to think that Kiwi has a very spring color palette and has quite a playful fashion style. Green like her eyes. Look at those beautiful eyes. Usually in the bike rides, we don't put Kiwi inside of a jacket because we worry that she'll overheat. But it said it was pretty highly likely to rain today. So I want to just make sure that she wasn't all wet for the board game cafe. And so my friends, when they see her, can give her proper good cuddles and not standoffish cuddles because she's wet. Kiwi's main motivation in life is to increase the frequency of pets that she gets from strangers. So that's my main goal in life now too. This is also a tricky intersection. I try to take a quite dominant position here just because I know people like to overtake on those turns. Usually on my commute to work, I'd be turning right here. But today I'm just gonna go straight up here. And this is probably where I need to get the navigation out. I'm not so familiar with it. Or should I just ride with where my gut tells me to go? My gut has proven me wrong many times in my life. I'm just gonna follow this bike path. And more importantly, this elderly cyclist who definitely is much more fit than I am, as you can tell from my very labored breath, even on an e-bike. Right road. Okay, now I know where to go. So we're gonna be going through Peckham, and then we're gonna be going through Peckham Park. And it's a bit of a mix between quite dense urban area and then a nice open park. And we'll spit us out on the other side, close to the cafe. Usually when I ride, I try to count the number of people that look at Kiwi and go, oh, cute. I don't know if it makes her day. I don't think she quite understands adoration if it's coming from so far away, but it makes my day. Makes me think everybody else sees the special little nugget that I have. It started to rain, it started to get a little bit windy. I think we got about a half an hour of this and then it's gonna clear up a little bit. Gonna ride relatively slowly through here. Lots of crosswind. Not sure if my road wireless go-tos will pick this up. That's nice. They slowed down for me on that little median strip area. I find in general, London drivers are somewhat decent with how they treat me when I'm riding with Kiwi. There's definitely a noticeable change to when I'm riding by myself. I think they they understand that the dog's life is worth more than mine, which is fair. She's a lot more adorable than I am. Probably how people with those baby on board signs feel as well. I've just got a little fur baby on board. Love getting looks from other cyclists. Oh, I'm gonna have to go real slow here. The wind's really picked up out of nowhere. Woo. Poor girl. I didn't mean to get you caught on this, girl. But we'll try to get there as quickly as we can. So one of the most common arguments that people who really dislike cyclists have is why would they trade in their car for a cycle when the weather in the country is so terrible. So, for example, here in the UK, it's always on the cusp of drizzling at every moment. We're in a constant state of grey. But even then, I don't find myself saying no to riding my bike because of the weather. If anything, that is usually the reason why I don't ride my bike. It's because the driver's like that asshole. I find myself not riding the bike because of the infrastructure. If the infrastructure was safer, if we had more separated paths, the rain wouldn't really mean much. I've got warm clothes. I can put wet weather gear on Kiwi, and I can get anywhere I want. This is a little tricky turn, but worked out really nicely for us in that break traffic. By the way, how am I doing with this stream of consciousness? I find that I'm actually not that great of a talker at most points. I'd rather write things down. So far so good, right? Leave something in the comments to tell me if you'd rather me just shut up and show you what the bike paths look like in London when you're riding with a dog. I will not be offended at all. So we're going to be riding through Peckham now. I love Peckham. It's a great place for getting food. It's a great place for getting groceries. There are a lot of interesting bars and restaurants. Unlike a lot of other places, it's doing a better job of keeping a little bit of itself here. Now, a lot of my friends, I would have trouble bringing them out here. When they do come here, they have a good time. Public transport to Peckham, it's so-so. It's not the most connected little area. You can get here better than a lot of places in London and have a great, interesting life. Another cockapoo. I gotta do a cockapoo count, I think. I think you guys would like that. We'll do a smile counter and we'll do a cockapoo counter. Let's say the more smiles we get, the more cuddles Kiwi gets at night. Otherwise, she gets no love or affection. Deal? Deal. There's a crossing here that takes you past the Peckham Library and into the park. Poor Kiwi. We gotta give her some treats. Actually, let's do that now. Let's give her a treat. She deserves it. There you go, girl. Good girl. Good girl. You're being brave. And then safely up these steps. Oh, interesting. Jerk chicken place right in the middle of the town square. I do love a good jerk chicken. Woo! I might want to put my sunnies on just to be able to see where to go. That's cute. So there are a lot of these dot bikes here now. Kind of like a Lime bike. You can rent them by the minute. They're quite affordable, especially for really short trips. Probably another one we're just going to go by slightly. And go by again. That's good. Okay, we got tree cover now, so a bit less rain right on our face. Hopefully Kiwi will be happy with that. Not sure what the camera's like with rain on it. I got the little waterproof 360 camera. Probably it's covered in little bubbles and will be footage will be quite useless at the end of this, but one can always hope. Kiwi has a favorite mailman that comes around to our house once a day. She can tell when he's coming. There's something like the jingle of his mail bag keys always gets her barking. And it's not like a, oh, I'm angry, there's a man coming towards our house kind of a bark. It's more like a, do I get to go out and play with that man kind of a bark. So I've got my little headphones in, just so I can hear the directions. I haven't quite figured out a way to put my phone on while Kiwi's on the bike as well. Take the risk here. But that'll be the next thing. Gonna turn here. Oops. Oh, sorry, Kiwi. Those were not good bumps. She's definitely a bit cold. Okay, now we're running a bit more through the more central boroughs. Paths are still going to be mostly painted gutters. But I think at least people are a little bit more used to cycles in the middle of the road in this kind of an area. I think the rain is dying down, so that could just be me being overly hopeful for the situation. It's at least not like coming to my face horizontally, which is a nice change. A little bump, go slowly for the girl. Gonna give Kiwi so many treats when she gets off of this thing. I sometimes worry that if it's a bad experience for her, like once or twice on the bike seat, that she will just never want to come back on the bike seat. And that would actually make me very sad. I'd probably have a little cry. I think I took a wrong turn there. Oh, it's a bike path. Unexpected. It's a separated bike path. What is this? Is it going to end just here? Okay, it's wanting me to turn right. That doesn't make sense at all. But maybe it does make sense, and I'm the one doing things wrong. Let's go. It's definitely telling me to go a different way than it should be. Wait, I think I can see the cafe from here. All right, cool. I think we're done. Whew. That was a journey, but I think we made it. And we're turning in here, so let's just see if I can do that. And we're here, Bad Moon Cafe. Overall, Kiwi and I had a really great time at Bad Moon Cafe. I loved how many board games there were to choose from. My friends and I ended up just playing Magic cards though. And Kiwi really enjoyed just hanging out underneath the table, giving us all emotional support and meeting a ton of new people. Everyone at the cafe was super nice, and there's tons of space, so you could go there with a big group of people and also dog pals. Overall, I'd highly recommend Bad Moon Cafe. 4 paws up and 1 super tired puppy.